A painful question we all ask. There are moments when life leaves us speechless. We see someone who has done nothing but offer kindness, yet they suffer deeply. And we also see people who deceive, harm, or take advantage of others, but seem to live in comfort, even admiration. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel fair. Then we look even closer, at children born into hunger or violence, at families torn apart by war or disease, at lives broken before they ever had a chance to begin. And somewhere inside, a question quietly rises. If karma is real, then how can this be fair? Many people carry this question, even if they never speak it aloud, because the idea of karma is often misunderstood, used as blame, or mistaken for some cosmic justice system. But that's not what the Buddha taught. He didn't give easy answers. He didn't offer punishment or reward. What he offered was something more honest and more healing. He pointed to a law, not a judgment. He showed us that life is not random, but it's also not simple. And instead of leaving us with guilt or fear, he left us with something else, the power to understand, to choose, to grow. So as we explore karma, injustice, and suffering today, we won't use sharp words or harsh blame. We'll use the same tools the Buddha used: calm attention, patient reflection, and gentle truth. To begin, let's clear up one of the biggest misunderstandings about karma. What does it really mean? And why does it often feel so unfair when we look at the world? Karma isn't a judge, it's a law of nature. People often picture karma like a cosmic judge, watching our every move, ready to give rewards or punishments based on a moral score. But the Buddha taught something completely different. He explained that karma simply means action or doing. More importantly, he taught it as the natural law of cause and effect. It's not a system of divine justice. It's how the universe works. Every intentional action, whether by body, speech, or mind, creates an energy, a seed. Think of it like planting a seed in a garden. When you plant an apple seed, you won't get oranges. If you plant seeds of kindness, you cultivate the conditions for happiness. If you plant seeds of anger, you create the conditions for suffering. It's not a reward or punishment. It's just the result of the cause. One of the main reasons life feels unfair is because karma doesn't always ripen immediately. Those seeds don't all sprout tomorrow. Some take time, weeks, months, years, or even lifetimes, to grow and bear fruit. A person might perform many good deeds, but face hardship because of seeds planted long ago. Another might act harmfully and seem to prosper because the negative seeds haven't ripened yet, or positive seeds from the past are still bearing fruit. This delay, this non-immediate ripening, is why the connection between action and result isn't always obvious and can make life seem deeply unfair. Furthermore, in Buddhist teachings, karma is understood as one of many factors shaping human experience, not the sole cause of all events. To illustrate this, the Theravada commentarial tradition later systematized 5 natural laws, niyamas, that collectively influence existence. 1. Karma niyama, the law of cause and effect based on intentional actions. 2. Utu niyama, physical laws like weather, climate, seasons. 3. Bija niyama, biological laws like heredity, genetics, how seeds grow into specific plants. 4. Dhamma niyama, natural phenomena like gravity, the earth rotating, the inherent nature of reality. 5. Citta niyama, laws of the mind, like consciousness, perception, the arising and passing of thoughts. So, when a child is born with illness, or someone suffers from a natural disaster, it's not solely because of their past karma. Biology, bija niyama, environment, utu niyama, and other factors are also at play. Karma is part of the picture, but it's not the whole story. Understanding karma as a law of nature, not a judge, removes the idea of a personal entity deciding our fate. It shows us that results follow actions, but not always on our timeline, and not always as the sole cause. This understanding is the first step to seeing karma not as a burden of guilt, but as a guide for how to live. So if karma isn't about blame or punishment, what is it really teaching us about our place in the world and the power we hold? Let's explore how the Buddha used this understanding to show us the path of responsibility and freedom. Karma doesn't blame, it teaches responsibility and connection. The Buddha never taught karma to justify suffering or to blame those who are hurting. His heart was filled with compassion. When he saw someone in pain, his focus was never on why they deserved it, but on how to alleviate it. Using karma to tell someone it's your fault or you deserve this goes against the very spirit of his teachings. True understanding of karma leads to more compassion, not less. It encourages us to ask, "How can I help?" instead of, "What did they do wrong?" Understanding karma is not about finding fault. It's about finding freedom. If our past actions contribute to our present circumstances, then our present actions are actively shaping our future. This is incredibly empowering. We are not passively receiving a predetermined fate. Every moment is an opportunity to plant new seeds, to choose a different direction. Think of Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist who survived the Holocaust. He said, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing: the freedom to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances." The Buddha taught this profound truth long ago. Even when faced with immense suffering or injustice that we did not cause in this life, we still have the power to choose our response, to cultivate patience, kindness, or wisdom in the face of pain. This is the ultimate responsibility karma teaches. Not responsibility for why something happened, but responsibility for how we respond to it. Furthermore, the Buddha revealed that karma is not just a personal account. We live in an interconnected web. My actions affect others, and their actions affect me. The suffering or injustice in the world is not separate from us. We are part of the system, the community, the world where it occurs. This is why the Buddha emphasized practices like generosity, forgiveness, and harmlessness. These aren't just moral rules, they are ways of actively shaping the karmic web in a positive direction. When we act with love and wisdom, we are not only creating causes for our own future well-being, but we are also sending ripples of positive energy into the world, influencing the conditions for others. When we forgive, we break the cycle of suffering, preventing future negative results. When we practice harmlessness, we ensure we are not planting seeds of pain for ourselves or others. Karma, seen this way, is not a burden of guilt from the past, but a powerful call to conscious action in the present. It's a reminder that our choices matter, not just for ourselves, but for the entire interconnected network of life. It shifts our focus from, "Why did this happen?" to, "What can I do now to create peace?" But even with this understanding, the sheer scale of suffering and injustice in the world can feel overwhelming. Why do some face such profound hardship? Is there a deeper explanation, or are some things simply beyond our full comprehension? The mystery of life's unfairness and the power of response. Even after understanding karma as cause and effect and embracing responsibility, we still encounter situations that seem profoundly unfair and difficult to reconcile. A devastating illness striking a young child, a virtuous person facing constant misfortune, widespread suffering from war or disaster that seems disproportionate to any individual's actions. These realities can shake our understanding. The Buddha acknowledged that not everything is easily explainable. He wisely advised his followers not to get lost in endless speculation about the exact karmic roots of every single event. Trying to trace all the causes and conditions that led to a particular suffering, especially those ripening from distant pasts or complex interactions, is like trying to count every grain of sand on a vast beach. It's an impossible task that can distract us from what truly matters. Instead of providing a complete explanation for every instance of suffering, the Buddha focused on something more practical and liberating: how to work with suffering here and now. He taught that even if we don't understand why a particular difficulty arose, we can still choose how we meet it. Life, in its unfolding, is not always a straight line where good deeds lead to immediate, visible rewards and bad deeds to instant punishment. It's more like complex weather patterns than simple arithmetic. A farmer might do everything right: choose the best seeds, prepare the soil perfectly, water diligently, but a sudden storm or drought can still damage the crop. Does this mean the farmer's good work was wasted? No. It means external conditions and other natural laws, utu niyama for example, are also at play. But the farmer's good efforts still created the best possible conditions under the circumstances and prepared the ground for future planting. Similarly, our good actions create positive potential, even if external factors or ripening past karma cause difficulty in the present. The Buddha encouraged perseverance. Drop by drop, the water pot is filled. Every act of goodness, every moment of mindfulness quietly builds strength and potential, even when the immediate results aren't obvious. Sometimes, paradoxically, witnessing or experiencing deep injustice and suffering can become a powerful catalyst for awakening compassion. It can break open our hearts and make us more sensitive to the pain of others. Many great humanitarians, activists, and spiritual teachers had their path shaped by encountering profound suffering. Thich Nhat Hanh, the Vietnamese Zen master, saw the horrors of war and injustice in his homeland. Instead of becoming consumed by hatred or despair, he dedicated his life to cultivating peace, mindfulness, and reconciliation. His response to suffering became a source of healing for countless others. So, while the mystery of unfairness may remain, the Buddha's teaching is not one of passive acceptance or cold explanation. It's an invitation to meet the complexity of life with wisdom, patience, and most importantly, active compassion. It reminds us that even when we can't control the conditions, we can choose our response, and in that choice lies our power to heal and to help. How to live with karma through mindful practice. Hearing about karma, especially its long reach across lifetimes, can sometimes feel heavy. Will every mistake I've ever made come back to haunt me? Is there a cosmic scorekeeper I need to appease? The Buddha's teaching on how to live with karma is one of the most liberating aspects of Buddhism. He taught that karma is not something external to fear. It is the natural process of our own mind and actions unfolding. It's not a spy, but a mirror reflecting our own cultivation. Instead of fearing karma, we are encouraged to learn from it and work with it. Our intentional actions, thoughts, and words are the seeds we are constantly planting. Mindfulness, the practice of paying gentle, non-judgmental attention to the present moment, is the tool that helps us become aware of the seeds we are planting right now. Are we planting seeds of anger or peace, of judgment or compassion, of carelessness or care? This awareness gives us immense power. If we notice we've planted a harmful seed, like speaking unkindly, we don't need to dwell in guilt. We can learn from it and choose to plant a different seed in the next moment, like offering an apology or cultivating a kind thought. The garden of the mind can always be tended. Karma is not a fixed destiny. It's a dynamic process of cause and effect that we are actively participating in and shaping. This is where practice comes in. Practices like meditation, cultivating kindness, metta, speaking truthfully, and living ethically, following principles like the Eightfold Path, are not just abstract ideas. They are concrete actions that create positive karma. They build beneficial habits and patterns in the mind and in our interactions with the world. Every mindful breath, every act of generosity, every moment of patience is a positive seed being planted, creating the conditions for future peace and well-being. The Eightfold Path is the Buddha's practical guide for planting the seeds of liberation in every aspect of life. From how we think and speak to how we earn a living. Understanding karma deeply also changes how we see others. When we realize how complex the web of cause and effect is, how everyone is navigating the ripening of countless past actions and external conditions, we become less quick to judge. We see that everyone is, in a sense, doing the best they can with the seeds they have planted and the conditions they face. This understanding naturally fosters humility and compassion, replacing judgment with curiosity and empathy. Karma, correctly understood, softens the heart. It doesn't harden it. So, living with karma without fear means embracing responsibility not as a burden, but as freedom. It means using mindfulness to see our actions clearly, choosing to plant beneficial seeds through practice, and cultivating compassion for ourselves and others, recognizing that everyone is on their own complex journey through the garden of cause and effect. So, is karma fair? The mirror of reality. After journeying through the Buddha's insights, let's revisit the question that began our conversation. Is karma fair? The answer is both simple and profound. Karma is not fair in the way our everyday minds often expect, but it is deeply true and ultimately just. It's not fair if we define fairness as immediate visible punishment for every wrong deed and instant reward for every good one. Life doesn't work like that. The ripening of karma is complex, often delayed, and intertwined with other natural laws. This is why we see virtuous people suffer, and those who cause harm seem to escape consequences, at least for a time. But karma is true in that it is the undeniable law of cause and effect, operating within our own minds and in the world. The seeds we plant, based on our intentions, will eventually bear fruit when conditions are right. Planting seeds of hatred, greed, and delusion will lead to suffering, whether in this life or a future one. Planting seeds of love, wisdom, and generosity will lead to peace and well-being. This is not a moral decree from an external power. It is the inherent nature of reality. And karma is just in the sense that it perfectly reflects the nature of our actions back to us, like a mirror. It doesn't give us what we deserve in a judgmental way, but it shows us the results of what we do. If the mirror shows suffering, it's because seeds of suffering were planted. If it shows peace, it's because seeds of peace were planted. So, true fairness is not something karma gives us from the past. It is something we build in the present through our conscious choices and actions. The Buddha didn't ask us to wait for justice. He asked us to be just, here and now, to speak with truth, to act with kindness, to cultivate a peaceful mind, even when it's difficult. This active engagement in the present moment is how we shape a future that is more aligned with peace and well-being for ourselves and others. Instead of asking, "Is karma fair?" a more helpful question, guided by the Buddha's wisdom, is, "How can I grow from this experience?" Whatever arises in life, whether joy or suffering, whether it feels fair or unfair, can be met with awareness and used as fuel for our growth in compassion and wisdom. We don't need to understand all the causes, but we can always choose our response in the present moment.